So let's open the kit and see what we have. Fuselage, decals, base, sanding stick, wings, vertical tail, horizontal tail, nose, piece of box, and the plans. We'll open the plans up. So this is the basic drawings of the kit. Now I know that this piece, the canopy, which is a plastic piece, is missing. And I'm going to have to deal with that. And here are the instructions step by step. Here we are ready to start the Strombecker Skyway. This is a research plane. I wondered why Strombecker picked this aircraft when I was a child, because it was unknown to me, and it never seemed to get the press that other research aircraft like the Bell X-1 and X-2 that broke the sound barrier initially, but this was a similar era research airplane, and some information on it from the Strombecker plans. Sorry about the condition. The plans are really old and tired. I made them as heavily contrasted as possible. I think one of the reasons they chose it, if you look at the fuselage, it's a perfectly round in cross section and symmetrical about the center line, so it could be turned out on a simple lathe, not a duplicating lathe or a multiple operation. So it would be a lot easier to manufacture than most of their kits. We'll start with step one that puts this little needle nose thing on the front of the fuselage, and then sands it in and prepares the fuselage for finishing. I've sanded the tail surfaces to the right airfoil shapes and installed them. You can see that they're pretty much in the right position because they're held that way by a slot in the fuselage and a slot in the tail that allows you to install them quite accurately, unlike the butt joints of models of this era typically had. In preparing to install the wings, I managed to drop the model on the floor, and the tail broke and fell into three pieces, and I have attempted to reassemble them and glue them back together, and unfortunately that's going to leave a mark, but best I could do. The next step is to install the wings. They fit into a hole in the fuselage like this. That sets the location, but it does not set the angle of incidence. That's up to the installer. I've started an effort to carve out the cockpit area. It's cut out of a piece of, I think, maple. See how that goes. Here's the carved cockpit shown on the plan. It's very difficult to get it to fit the fuselage tightly because both parts are curved. I'll keep trying. I'm going to use a clear finish on the model to demonstrate that it's actually made of wood. The actual airplane was painted all white. If I would do that, it might appear a rather lame plastic model. I'd rather celebrate the wood construction. Here's the underside in the process of being painted. Indentations on the lower fuselage are the inlets for the jet engine installation in this aircraft. And here's the top being painted. I painted the model with varnish to show that it was a wood model. The maple canopy is way lighter than the basic wood of the aircraft, which I think is boxwood. So it shows up pretty badly like a different part. The aircraft obviously was painted completely white, and therefore this cockpit standing out doesn't look too good, nor does the filler which I installed, which contained filler and sawdust from the model mixed together. But the sawdust certainly didn't do much to darken the light filler material. The 4 small holes in the aft of the fuselage represent the 4 rocket engines, as pointed out by the plan. The inlets for the jet engines are shown again, and the exhaust is represented by a decal. Fairly successful installing decals as old as these. I coated these with clear coat with one single spray coat before I tried to use them, and they all worked fairly well. The only one that failed is the black decal that used to run all the way down the nose as shown in this picture, but fell off somewhere in the time thereafter, so that it only covers part of the original area. As you can see from this advertisement, this aircraft, plus many more, were with a stand to show it flying and not provided with landing gear. So here's the finished model. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like and consider subscribing. You can watch my other videos on similar subjects on YouTube.